Hello everyone, welcome back to our course Windows 10 training home for home users and IT professionals on jobskillshare.org. Our first video we finished our part 1 for start menu, desktop and advanced settings. Today we are going to right click again and we finished it right here. Now the last video we discussed a little bit about Task Manager. Task Manager is something important that you should know even for home users and especially for IT user. So sometimes you probably will need to work on Task Manager. The way you can get it from here, or you can right click on the bottom right here on this bar and click on Task Manager. Both will take you to the same place. So if you click on the Task Manager right here, now what can you do with this? Now you can see I have Chrome in the background that's open, and this tells you in a very it's a very small overview of what's running on your computer, but you can click on more detail and that gives you a little bit more details about your computer and the performance, what's going on with your CPU, your memory. If your memory is going crazy, then you should see that, okay, it is really high. What's going on in processes? If you click on it, it will tell you specific apps are using specific amount of memory. As you can see, Camtasia, which I'm using for recording, is probably the highest. Yep. So as you can see, you can just use this click and it will tell you which one is the highest right here. And now this could be also a great troubleshooting for IT users, because sometimes you might get a call that, hey, I'm clicking on Outlook. I clicked on it like 10 times and I don't see Outlook coming up. Something is not right. That kind of tell you that something is not right with the application and it's being used. Maybe it's just open too many times that right now computer don't know what to do. So most of the time probably you will just come and say, okay, this person just came in, clicked on it like 20 times. Now this just, you will see Outlook, 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 and it will just be a big Outlook list in here. All you got to do is to right click on it and end task, and that usually will kill that process, and then you can open it again and that resolves the issue. Now by doing this, you just need to make sure that you tell the user that at this point I need to kill it. Now if you have something other open like Word or Excel, it's spinning, something like not working, you probably have to kind of tell the user that at this point, there's probably no automatic recovery. If they're lucky, they have saved their work, or maybe the automatic recovery is done, then at this they can probably recover the document. But when you kill something like this, there's chances that you might lose work that if it's open. So that's something that you just kind of need to work with the user. So that's kind of the scenario that I wanted to give. But as you can see, you can do a lot of things right here. You can go to the app history and see, what type of memory was it used, and that's kind of like a nice way to find out what app is using, all the data and stuff like that. You can come here and check that out. Um, Startup, it will tell you that when you start your computer, what is starting up on your computer. So it tells you right here, CC Cleaner, Cisco AnyConnect, Dropbox, other things are getting startup. Now, this could be also important when you do like, virus troubleshooting and stuff like that. If there's a spam or some kind of crazy software that you don't want and somehow it got installed on your computer, and then you might see something, why is it coming up again and again? I don't know where is it actually starting. And it could be right here, startup, and you can change it from delete it from here. Or if this may be a Skype program or something like, sometimes you'll get a call from a user that, look, I don't want Skype to be running when I start my computer. I can open it. So you just need to come more here and change it from here. You can also go to the Skype itself and then change it from there. A lot of these programs have it in their settings, but you can see right here which ones are getting started from here. So if I want to stop CC Cleaner, I can go to CC Cleaner and go to settings and just stop it from running from the startup. Then you have users. As you can see, the user account which should be right here and tells you what type of memory is being used. Details is just in a very detailed, uh, you know, memories and description, and even some of the things that you don't even see in the processes. So you can see right here, it's the kind of still limited, but if you go to detail, it will give you even more detail per page detail. So if I say I have Chrome open right now, and it tells you how many basically instances are running with Chrome itself, even though it says one, but in reality is four. One, two, three, four. So that's kind of tells you in a very detailed way that what's running behind your computer. So if you want to ever come and see that your computer is going crazy and some data is going here and there and something is not correctly done, or you're kind of a little bit worried about some other application running in the background, this could be a place to come and check it out, because it even gives you DLL host and all that stuff. You gotta be advanced user to know this, but at the end of this course, we'll have so much knowledge that you should be able to determine what is this. Now you can right click on it and also end the task, but I would be really sure by doing this. I mean, I would need to know exactly what I'm killing here, because if you might just kill something and that after that maybe your internet will stop working. You probably have to restart your computer to fix it, but that's kind of like the warning right there. You can even click on properties and it will take you that what is this about, and it will take you to the whole location. Where is it running from? So as you can see, this is a pretty important file running from system32. You don't want to mess with system32 files. It definitely will break your computer, and maybe you will never have computer started again if you kill something really important or delete something important. Okay, and then we have services. Now services for home users might not be a big deal. It's just running, like, how it's configured. Everything is just kind of a little bit automatic. You don't deal with this stuff. But for an IT user, services could be a very important thing, because you need to know, sometimes if you need to work with, let's say for example, you're trying to implement a policy, and that policy is to block applications, and that application needs to run a specific service. Like for example, app locker is something that it needs to be running on a computer, client computer, as a service for you to deploy a policy from server. Then you need to know that, and that you need to configure it. So then you can come to services over here and you can go over here and then configure it. But this is kind of tells you that what's running on this machine. The real way of dealing with the services is another section that we're going to jump in right now. So let's go back now. We were at the command prompt and task manager, and now we're going to the command prompt. This is where you will be running some of the things for, like, if someone say, I need your IP address for this machine so then I can do some of the things. You'll have to go to this command prompt and just type some of the commands. Now this is another thing that we're not going to go in detail, because it's another world right there. But that's just kind of what you will be using it for, to getting even more information. IP address, MAC address, all that stuff. You can do everything from command prompt. So this is kind of that. Now you have two, you can see one is the less rights and one is with admin rights. Some of the applications will require you to run, if you're running a command from the command line, then you need to run it as an admin. As you can see right here, we have a command prompt for the admin right here. But if you type CMD like this, you can also right click and run as administrator. So that's the same way of running it, this one. Okay, it just saves you some steps by searching that. Another important piece is computer management. In computer management, this is another, for home users, also for IT users also. So if you're a home user and you want to add family members, you can just come to local users and you would add the members right here, and then you will give them certain rights. So for example, I have one account, and if I click on properties, it sees password never expires. But you can right click and create a new user like this, and then once you add it, you can change the account settings. So for example, if I want to enable the administrator account, I can just say account and check the account disable, apply, and OK. Then I can right click, go to properties, and then I can say member off and then add a members. So if you want your family members to have less access, like kids and stuff, you don't want them to install software, then you would add them as a user. So you'll just type users like that. If you want them to be administrators, then you just need to full type administrator and that's done. Okay, so most of the home users are going to deal with this. And maybe if you add a new hard disk, somehow you bought, another another internal hard disk and you plug it into your computer or maybe laptop, then you just need to come and configure that. It will show up right here. You'll right click on it, and then you will just basically work with the settings. It's pretty easy to do that. Um, Same thing with IT users. You probably will have some kind of call. Like let's say for example, you might get a call that, hey, we need an external hard disk in this computer server, whatever. Then you probably need to use this type of, calls, and this could be your help desk call. And you'll go in there, you'll plug that in, and just come here and right click and then configure that, and you'll name it. It could be used for logs. Then you will name the extension, the character for the drive. It will be like L and whatever you want to name it. D for data, so something like that. Now, you can see we talked about a little bit while ago about services. This is where probably you need to come down and configure and play around with services in detail. The other part was just to show around, but here you can see more details and you can actually run and stop service from there too, but you can go to properties here. And in properties you can specify to log on what kind of account you want to use for this specific service. So sometimes you want to use a domain controller account, sometimes you want to use a service account. You will be doing this right here. Now, most of this type of stuff would be more like system administrator type of jobs, but you can also come across in help desk to do this type of stuff. Now, for help desk, another call could be also related to the groups section, where you might get a call that, hey, we need to log in to another computer. Or maybe someone is logging in from their home computer using VPN, and they get some type of error that you're not allowed to log into this machine. Sometimes you need to come to remote desktop users and then add that person's ID, the domain account here, and then they should be able to get into this computer. Sometimes you could be also working with some users that they're power users and they require administrative rights. So you don't want to make them domain administrators, but you can make them local computer administrator by adding it to this group right here. And that's kind of calls database administrators and other people that have all these, they should have some kind of more rights than normal users, and they will just come here. You can add them without giving them domain admin rights. Now the most important one is right here, the event viewer. I'd say if you want to become a person, want to advance in your career, try to learn about logs. Logs is everything when you move in your careers. So system admin, Linux administrator, anyone, name it. And if you can read logs, it will make your life easy. And you can start with Windows. For help desk guys, you can just start it from here. Even for home users, this is good, but I'm pretty sure no home users will be trying to see logs and they're like, okay, this is not my thing. So you go to the application and you see everything that is happening in your computer. It is a big log, so you just need to be patient. Once it's opened up, this is where you can gather a lot of information. Now, one of the calls could be you implemented a policy on computers to block certain paths, meaning, like for example, you're trying to protect yourself from CryptoLocker and stuff like that, and you don't want your users to run files from download or another paths that is very sensitive, that that viruses target. You probably will use some type of group policy. Now the problem with that is, how do you know that when someone click on it, they get a message? But the problem is that if you have 300, 400 machines, then you need to have some type of way to gather these logs. And this is where you can come and play around with this. So you can basically see the logs are getting created, but you can also use some type of software, another software like Spikesworks. Spikesworks have the ability to take these logs by event ID like this, and then it will send an email out that this event is generated on this machine. That makes it super easy for you if you know exactly that this is the event ID that I don't want on my machine. And if it ever get hit like this, I need an email in probably 5-15 minutes. And that is the way you can really, really advance your skills in this type of, in an IT environment where you can do a lot of things with logs. And that's just one example though. But you can do a lot of other things, troubleshooting, security issues, setup issues, software issues. You can see everything that is being happening. You can see it by seconds. So that was computer management. From the start menu, you can go in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and quickly jump into network connections. And you can see in the network connections, you will see your Wi-Fi connections, Ethernet connection. So let's say, for example, you're having an issue with internet connection. You can right click here, and first thing you want to do is to, let's say for example, it's just some kind of weird issue that you think that my connection is great, my phone is connected, something is not right with this computer. You can disable it, enable it, and everything will be back because it refreshes it. And that's something what people do on the switch. They will disable the switch, enable it. You can do it from here too, like just disable the whole adapter. It will redo everything. So that's one way to play around with this. Other things like you can go to the diagnostic and it will just do its own process. You can also go to the properties to see, that's like for example, someone say, hey, I need to put a static IP address on this machine for IT guys, not the DHCP. So you can just go to IPv4, go to properties, and this is where you will put the IP address and DNS. So this is where you can do all that stuff. We will go in detail about this later on. And other things you can do is the device manager. We'll click on device manager. This is just for your drivers and things like that, like what's running on the computer, making sure that everything is correct. Sometimes you could have issue with monitors. Maybe you plug in the keyboard and it's not connecting. So this is where you would come and kind of fix that type of issue. As you can see, you can uninstall it, you can update drivers, you can disable, and go to the properties and scan for hardware changes if you have a new hardware connected. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and click on system. This is where you can gather that basic information for your system. Is it 64-bit? Is it connected to a domain controller? This is where you add and join a computer to a domain. You click here and then you type the domain. So we're going to click here, enter product key. Okay. Okay. No, sorry, not here. I clicked on the wrong place. Change settings. I'm like, why is it asking me for a product key? Okay, so here you will change and then you'll click on domain and then you just add it to a domain and now it's an Active Directory control computer. And other thing is to be advanced settings over here. Remote settings are important one. This is where you will come and change your settings. If you want to allow an access to this computer, you will come here and depending on your security level, you can check this box. It's a good practice. For example, if I want to use another computer and I want to remote into this computer, I will go to remote desktop like this. I'll type remote desktop like this on another computer, different computer, and I'll add the name of this computer or IP address of this computer and click on connect. If this is not allowed, now if it's not allowed, then what will happen is that you will get error message and then you'll have to just go back and make sure that these options are um, correct from here to this one right here. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and click on event viewer. This is the one that we already discussed. So it just takes you straight to that event viewer right here. You go to like click or logs and application and all that stuff. We have already discussed that. We will be basically doing a very detailed video on this one, but for now it's just basic stuff. So then we have power options. We already discussed power options in another video, but when you click on this, it takes you to this screen. That was a different one when we did it from the right click and then we went to display settings. This one it's just kind of like what we had in Windows 7. So you can see right here, you can change the power settings from here. Click change, and then you can change your computer, turn off while it's on battery or plugged in. Brightness and advanced settings are right here. You know, some of the things that you probably won't come here as a home user, but if you have to, you know, sometimes you do troubleshooting, you just need to come down here and see if you can play around with it and fix some of the things. Usually, most of the IT guys will get a call like, you know, I need to log in tomorrow with my computer, or I need to do a remote desktop in the morning, 6:30, 5:30 a.m., and you need to make sure that their computer doesn't go to sleep every 30 minutes because when they leave work at 5:30, then it will go to sleep. You won't be able to do the remote login. Mobility center is something that it's a quick way of what these applications and like batteries and things like that. It's kind of like a quick way to go around and just do things. Like you can turn on the projectors if it's connected. You can check the balance for the battery, power saver. You can check the mute. You can also do that from here. And you can do the display settings and some basic stuff here. The last one is program and features. This is something that we discussed in the beginning of the video, first part one. And again, it just takes you to the same place. And this is where your softwares are installed. And these are the main softwares installation. So you just come here and uninstall it from here. You can also check Windows updates from here. So sometimes if you come across a call that is a Windows update, it's not a software basically. You just need to come here and you can see things from this. Like for example, you have a security update for Adobe Flash, Microsoft Windows right here. It says Microsoft Windows, and you could have like Internet Explorer type of installations. That's Microsoft, and you'll see something like here. So this could be a technical call for a help desk person that a new update broke OneDrive. Now, how do you go and uninstall? You just need to come and find that update, uninstall it from here, and then play around with the settings and do your troubleshooting. This is where you come and do that. And I'm sure you'll one day come over here and you'll play around with these one days because Microsoft tends to send out updates. I mean, they're good, but yeah, there's so many updates, things breaks. So that was everything from start menu, right click, and all these things, and kind of we did a little overview of what we do. In our next video, we will set up mail, and now we're going to shrink our video more to specific features like mail, like things like that, mail, calendar, people, and stuff like that. What's like inside. So thank you for watching part two, and we're done with this. Hopefully you guys are learning. And if you do like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe, and